Hey guys, huge news today. DayZ 0.60 has hit experimental and I was able to put a good 5 hours into the new patch. Here are some of my first impressions. Before I get started, I just wanted to say that the lighting in DayZ experimental right now isn't really that good. It's really bugged up and you need to amp up your gamma extremely high to see most things. At least it was from my perspective. So the videos that you're going to be seeing in the clips are a little bit dark because Shadowplay doesn't pick that up. Sorry, I'll fix it for next time, guys. Let's start off with the big one, performance. The developers have been long hinting that the new rendering engine will help players get better performance in cities across Chernarus, and I can safely say that this is true. In central Chernogorsk, I was running around at 100 frames per second during a live broadcast, and consistently meeting over 60 frames in all other areas of the game. Typically on stream, I range anywhere between 20 and 50 frames per second, depending on the city and location. The performance update lives to the hype. Second, zombies. They've received a bit of an update. Although I don't think they work much different from 0.59, there are a few notable changes. Zombies can now hop over fences, as well as wear a variety of different clothing items from the game, similar to players. Zombies also received a model update too, so you can expect to fight different infected moving forward. Zombies also have an inventory space, but they currently drop no loot. The new assault pack has been added to the game. It's a 32 slot backpack that can currently be found in almost all military loot locations. I was able to get my hands on one, and they're actually rather small for the size that they actually carry, effectively replacing the hunting pack as my favorite backpack. They come in two colors, green and black. Weapons are now spawning with attachments. This is a little bit controversial because at the current rate attachments are spawning, it is incredibly ridiculous. I assume this is done purely for experimental purposes. If you ever wanted to roll with an AK PSO, now is your chance. Nearly every AK has one. All military loot is now spawning in military locations, including UN and Russian helicopter loot. This means you can now find M4s and FALs in military tent locations. It is unsure if this change will be permanent or simply for experimental purposes. Speaking of the FAL can now fit all UN optics, including the ACOG sight, so finally the FAL has become a DMR weapon that should be feared. The new UI is a bit of a mixed bag. Looting bodies is going to take some time to get used to, as you now have to drag every single clothing item off the corpse before you can actually access the inventory. It also has a massive scale that takes up your entire screen, so it's now much harder to run and loot effectively and manage your inventory. Loot is also in the far left corner of the screen as well, so I recommend getting used to picking up items using your function key instead. Bolt actions and shotguns now require you to press R to reload your round after each shot. It doesn't take long to get used to, but it will definitely increase the skill gap between experienced and inexperienced players when it comes to sniping. The way magazines and chambering is done is different too. Players can now press F to switch between magazines during combat, or add a magazine to the action bar to change mags on the fly. Pressing R will no longer replace the magazine, it will actually single chamber your weapon, causing some issues. I honestly think this server needs some work and it needs to go back to the way it was in 0.59. Being in the middle of a firefight and trying to mash the R button only to drop your magazine into single chamber a round is really wonky and just doesn't seem to work correctly at all. DayZ military base is now in. I have an uncut exploration video from my live stream on my channel for those interested to see what the base is like. However, DayZ military base is not done, so there's a lot of buildings and a lot of terrain that still need to be worked around for the base to be finished, but you can go there and you can get a lot of military gear. Needless to say, you won't get an infection if you go to DayZ at the moment. You can now spin the revolver by pressing R to randomly land on a chamber before firing. This is to allow players to introduce Russian roulette to the game. Motorcycle helmets are in the game now as well. We are able to see two different variants in the short time we played, green and yellow and orange and white. Anyways guys, in the first couple hours that I've been playing the game, those are some of the biggest changes that I've noticed. Obviously there's probably more things, like obviously the changes to Cherno and Electro, DayZ, Alter Hill, and all that kind of stuff. Those are things that people have known for a very long time. What I recommend is just jumping in the game, experiencing it for yourself, and take a look at all the new locations. I have a link to a map in the description box below. Anyways, guys, there's going to be some more 0.60 videos coming in the future, but this is just one of the first videos I wanted to introduce to kind of get people excited about this new patch. And it's just kind of keep in mind that things are subject to change. This is a day one experimental patch, which means that the game that we're playing right now will most likely change before it reaches stable branch. Anyways, guys, happy hunting, and I'll see you guys during my daily broadcasts every single morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.